Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
Pop quiz. When is the last time you heard a Democrat tell a funny joke? Any Democrat, not just elected officials. Let's include professional comedians. But you can't think of one, can you? And if you can, it's overwhelmingly likely that the example you come up with is from more than 10 years ago. In other words, before Donald Trump came down the golden escalator and began his career in elective politics. An event which dovetailed, perhaps not coincidentally, with the Democrats going all in on identity politics, the ultimate result of which is that they have turned themselves into a bunch of glum, glowering scolds, whose messaging, the vast majority of it, consists of getting offended about things and calling people racists and bigots and istophobes for telling funny jokes. The Democrats, in other words, have positioned themselves as the anti-humor party. And if they think it has no relation to the fact that their party currently has the lowest approval numbers either major party has ever had since the advent of modern polling, they are wildly mistaken, just as they are about most things, including the wisdom of shutting down the government over health care for illegal aliens. But one thing does seem abundantly clear. The sombrero memes will continue until morale improves. It's Thursday, the 2nd of October. This is Curmudgeon's Corner. From high atop the battlements of Castle Curmudgeon, where I have just spoken to Speedy Gonzalez, and he says he is fine with the sombrero memes. He actually thinks they're quite funny. In fact, here, let me read his direct quote. Andale, andale, arriba, arriba, epa, epa, epa. End quote. We thank Senor Gonzalez for taking the time to weigh in on this very important political issue. And with that item of business having been dispensed with, Buenos tardes, señor y señora America y todos los barcos en el mar, bienvenidos a Rincón al Gruñón. Let's talk about the Democrats and their humor problem. Now, if you were unfamiliar with the sombrero memes when this video began, I trust you've now been disabused of that unfamiliarity, as I am planning on loading up the front end of the video with some of the most hilarious examples, but here is a quick play-by-play of how it all happened. The Democrats, as you know, have shut down the federal government, and we're supposed to pretend we're sad about that, even though nobody really cares. There's a government shutdown, every year or two anymore? And each time it happens, normal people in the real world just sort of shrug and go on about their daily lives. The Democrats, of course, want you to believe it was the Republicans who shut down the government, but that is a bald-faced lie, just like most other things Democrats say. They decided the spending levels that they were totally fine with when Joe Biden's auto pen was the president are now wildly unsatisfactory when Trump is the president, and they have declared, damn it, if you don't give us $200 billion for health care for illegal aliens, then we are shutting down the government. And then we will run to the news cameras and claim it was really you guys who shut down the government. To which the Republicans replied, okay, dude, you do you. Best of luck with all that. And we know exactly why the Democrats have engineered this performative political stunt. Their party and everyone in it is captured by the hard-left progressive base. There is a midterm election next year. Every Democrat in the House and every Democrat senator whose term expires in 2026 is terrified of a primary challenge from their left flank. So they need a big slab of red meat, or some vegan soy patties, as the case may be, that they can throw to the woke pitchfork mob that is threatening to burn them in effigy if they don't go hard enough to the left. So the government shutdown and the exorbitant demand for $200 billion for illegal alien health care is all designed so that vulnerable Democrat incumbents can blast out a fundraising email with a subject line that says some nonsense like, I stood with our immigrant community against the evil racist Republicans, so send me money. We know how this song and dance goes. It is the same every time. None of these dullards has had a single original thought in at least 15 years. But if you'll permit me a brief but highly encouraging aside, their precious illegal alien community to use the fashionable woke leftist parlance, seems to be rapidly dwindling in number, as the Homeland Security Department reported last week that 1.6 million illegals have voluntarily self-deported since Trump took office back on January 20th, which is an average, for those fans keeping score at home, of 6,255 self-deportations per day, and obviously that number doesn't include those that have been forcibly removed. So bravo to the Trump administration for actually doing the work in a meaningful way. And is there any mystery why the Democrats are desperately trying to stop a new census from being taken, and why they're trying to ram through all of these new gerrymandering schemes? No, of course there's no mystery. They know if there is a new census taken with the pre-existing district boundaries, they are going to lose a lot of safe seats in the House, because the number one purpose of the Open Borders Project was to get millions of illegals into the country, pack them into the big Democrat-run cities, get them counted in the census, and engineer for themselves a permanent, unassailable advantage of 25 to 26 House seats, which is exactly what they currently enjoy. So, if you do a new census now, with 1.5 million to 2 million fewer illegals in the country, a lot of those safe Democrat seats are going to go away, and with them any possibility of their side retaking the House majority at any time in the near future. But back to the government shutdown. Democrats shut down the government. They shut it down over free health care for illegals. And you tell me what the response is going to be from the Trump administration and the conservative memosphere. Yup, that's right, a whole bunch of AI-assisted videos of Hakeem Jeffries and crying Chuck Schumer wearing giant sombreros and big Pancho Villa-style mustaches, while La Cucaracha, or the Mexican hat dance, plays in the background. Personally, I would like it better if they were also depicted wearing ponchos and bandoliers to complete the sort of 1915 Mexican bandito aesthetic, but then I am kind of a picky bastard. And even without the ponchos and the bandoliers, this stuff is really, really hilarious. And it is also political fair play, because Jeffries and Schumer have set themselves up to be mocked in this exact fashion. And if they were smart men, which they are not, if they were astute politicians, which they are not, and if they wanted to forestall the effectiveness of this line of attack, you know what they would do? They would laugh. They would say, yeah, that's pretty funny, you got us. But because they are the most humorless, most self-serious people in the history of planet Earth, and they are not smart, and they are not politically astute, they have responded in exactly the way you would expect. By running to MSNBC and CNN and clutching their pearls good and hard and going through the usual tired spiel about, these are racist, xenophobic stereotypes and they're so offensive, I think I might get the vapors. And Hakeem Jeffries, because he is an honest-to-God certifiable idiot, took the additional step when he was appearing on CNN of saying, we've heard from a lot of Latino organizations and they tell us this is very offensive. And first of all, what a ridiculous lie this is, but second of all, saying this is actually more ethnically offensive than the jokes you are pretending to be offended about, and here is why. The sombrero is the traditional national headgear of Mexico, and only Mexico. No Colombian or Honduran or Venezuelan gives a shit about somebody being depicted in a freaking sombrero. If you asked a Colombian or a Honduran or a Venezuelan to draw you a picture of what they think a Mexican looks like, there is around a 127% likelihood that they would draw a guy with a sombrero. Hakeem Jeffries seems to think Mexican and Latino are synonyms. They are not. He seems to think every Spanish-speaking person from Tijuana to Punta Arenas is offended by a picture of him wearing a sombrero. They are not. They all probably laughed just like the rest of us did. Why? Because it's funny. It is okay to laugh at funny things, Hakeem, even when you are the butt of the joke. In fact, especially when you are the butt of the joke. You know why? Because the ability to poke fun at yourself, to be self-effacing, is the marker of a self-confident man. You don't look like a self-confident man when you glower into a camera and declare that any joke made at your expense is racist and xenophobic and offensive. All that does is make you look like an insecure, humorless douchebag who deserves to be made fun of. It makes people want to mock you more, not less. Donald Trump has done a great job of learning how to be self-effacing and how to poke fun at himself as his political career has gone on. And you know what? The people love him for it. It's a big part of the reason why he was elected to the presidency a second time. When he began his 2016 campaign, he still had a bit of a problem with being too self-serious. But by the time you get to the 2024 campaign, he's doing his little Trump dance, the whole purpose of which is for people to laugh at him in a good-natured way, And he's telling jokes like that, what that joke he often tells about, yeah, I've never had one drink of alcohol. Can you imagine? Me as a drunk? I'd be the absolute worst. Meanwhile, his political opponents are sitting in a TV studio wearing facial expressions like someone just kicked them in the balls and stole their wallet while murdering their favorite puppy. They are squeezing their pearls so hard they threaten to explode and turn into dust. They are declaring that no jokes made at their expense can ever be funny. They're actually really quite offensive, and if you laugh at them, you are a terrible, bad, awful, racist, xenophobic bastard who hates Mexicans or Latinos or something. Whoever the guys with the big fucking hats are. Meanwhile, Donald Trump and Speedy Gonzales are over in the corner pointing and laughing at you for being such a ridiculous, humorless schoolmarm who doesn't know how to make any facial expression except glowering contempt. I mean, seriously, Hakeem, you should try to smile once in a while. I know it's unnatural, but when is the last time you actually smiled? Like the summer of 2013, sometime around then? It is no way to live. Going around looking like someone's got your testicles in a vice all the time. You look like the most miserable bastard in the whole wide world. And that is no way for a party leader to look. In fact, Hakeem, I've got a homework assignment for you. Late at night, when there's nobody around, I want you to go into the bathroom and glower into the mirror and ask yourself, if I was a non-affiliated voter, would I want to join this guy's team so I could be as glum and self-serious as he is? Or would I want to join the team of the guys who make the funny jokes and have the ability to poke fun at themselves? It is Retail Politics 101, Hakeem, and you are really quite terrible at it. I'm done, that's all I've got. On behalf of myself and Jim Eagle and Speedy Gonzales, thanks for watching. See you next time. Andale, andale, arriba, arriba. Get off my lawn.